Update. I, 30 female, caught my husband, 31 male, in an affair and don't know how to move forward. Original post. I've suspected things had been going on for a while but kept brushing it off. I thought he would never do that to me. Since around April, he's been refusing my attempts to have sex most of the time, sitting differently on the couch so he's facing away from me. Little things. It's with one of our good friends. She came to my house a few weeks ago. She's texted me. She's pretended to be there for me. I found out because I rolled over and they were having a Snapchat conversation. She said she wished she could be there to hold him, and he summarized that I tried to seduce him last night and mocked it. I confronted him and he admitted it. He said that it was because quarantine was stressful. He does not want to work things out. He thinks of me only as a friend in his heart. When I told her husband, he confronted her, and apparently they actually kissed back in February. I think at that moment, I was never going to be enough for him. We used to be so happy. The week before they kissed, we celebrated Valentine's Day together. He bought us a nice bottle of wine for our anniversary. We had fun. We were perfect. I don't know where to go from here. We've been married only about a year. I feel like he took so much from me and doesn't even want to go to therapy or work this out. I don't want to leave my house, but everywhere in it I see him. He chose her. I've been cheated on in every relationship I've ever been in. He was supposed to be my forever. I don't know what to do. I've made therapy appointments, but I was also laid off last month, so I have too much free time to analyze every single moment where he might have been lying to me or where I made myself pathetic trying to cling to him. How do I start to get through this? Lawyer first. Get the divorce filed and get their advice on if it's okay for you to leave the house while things are processing. As for the other, you need to fill your time. Devote yourself to hobbies, including picking up new ones. Rely on friends, long video calls, watching movies together, etc. Fill as much of your time as you can until things start to process. I'm so sorry he gave up on you without even trying, hun. You deserve far better than that. It's a shame some people are so good at hiding how little respect they have for other folk, but please hold on to the fact that none of this was your fault. There is absolutely zero reason for a partner to cheat, ever. And there is absolutely no justification that can put even a shred of the blame on you. Thank you. The worst thing is that he tried to turn it on me this morning, that things had been off. But it only started being off when he started this affair and he began gaslighting me. You can't go to therapy and work this out. It only gets worked out if both people want to put the effort in, and your husband has made it very clear he's not interested in trying to make the relationship work. He directly told you that. You need to find a lawyer and file for divorce. Thank you. I guess it's just hard to watch him blow up his own life so spectacularly. It's like I'm watching a cruel puppet of my husband. Finding out this news is going to be a swirl of emotions and conflicting urges, like a spinning top that's wobbling. But once you speak to a lawyer, start getting your divorce going, lean on friends, family, and potentially a personal therapist, you'll start to balance out again. Already have a session booked with a therapist because holy hell, I'm going to need it. Now for the first update 4 months later. First of all, I just want to thank everyone here for the support I received following my first post back in August. At the time, it truly felt like my world was ending. It was important to me to make this update because I need to tell anyone who's currently going through the same thing. It gets better. You will get so much better. I had one conversation with my husband since everything happened, by his choice. It lasted maybe 5 minutes and was like talking to a robot. I know from others that he cries to people about how he ruined his life, but I have never once gotten an apology or the same show of regret. At this point, I don't care. I know him and the other woman are still seeing each other, and frankly, they deserve each other. Good for them. While I still feel angry occasionally, I no longer mourn what I once had. Instead, I'm so excited for the life I now get to live. I moved to a small walkable city and gave myself my dream apartment. It makes me so happy to see how I've decorated it and to just live in a cozy place instead of our old dreary house. I was the breadwinner in our marriage, and he would make me feel awful about wanting to pay for nice meals or do fun things. Since moving here, I've done a ton of foodie fun stuff and don't feel guilty. It's so refreshing. I have dipped my toe into the dating pool again and had plenty of mediocre dates from dating apps. Recently, I've found someone who I've really clicked with and am enjoying how appreciated and desired he's made me feel. It's definitely early and we're moving slow, but overall, dating has made me realize that I'm a catch who doesn't have to settle. Therapy has done wonders, and I'm so happy I immediately dove into it. My therapist is proud of me. I'm proud of me. I've stopped looking at being divorced as a failure. He failed, not me. I'm genuinely happy and excited to wake up each morning and no longer feel like this terrible weight is sitting on my chest. The holidays were surprisingly easy, and I found myself so happy to spend time with my family without having to compromise anything. So all in all, life is good and there's so much of it ahead. Looking back, I can't believe I wasted so much time thinking about how I could get him to come home. I've made my own home and my own happiness, and that is worth so much more. This makes me so happy. Good for you, OP, you rock. Thank you. I forgot to mention above, but I also got a new job offer and am happily busy with fulfilling work again as well. I'm going through a breakup that has left me feeling lost and broken. This gives me so much hope for the future. Tomorrow morning, my journey begins as I go talk to a therapist for the first time and begin the road to recovery. Thank you for being so strong and sharing your story so others may find their strength through you. You're amazing. So many people told me things would get better, but honestly, I didn't believe it until I started feeling it myself. Just keep putting that faith in yourself and remember, you're so much stronger than you think. You've already done the biggest step, signing up for therapy. I'm so happy for you. Women have the capacity to really bounce back and come out in a better state. Your ex-husband will come back begging, and I'm not kidding. He will come with his hat in his hand. Be prepared for it. People keep saying this, but honestly, I don't think he will. I think he's just wiped his hands clean, which in a weird way has made it easier for me to move on. I did make it hopefully hard to find me if he does decide otherwise though. Last update 5 years later. Wow, I can't believe this happened over 5 years ago now. In some ways, it feels like it happened to me in a different life. I still get messages asking about this and figured I could add some insight into how life can look a few years down the line after everything gets completely and utterly wrecked. Good news, if you put in the work, it looks pretty freaking great. First of all, where is my ex-husband now? I haven't had contact with him since September of 2020 and largely don't keep track of things. But I can see that this man still follows me on Instagram and watches all of my stories. I considered blocking him, but just let it be. I think it's the petty part of me who's living a full life that's fine with rubbing it in a bit. He and the affair partner did get married after a whoopsie kid, and I'm pretty sure they had another. But they also both lost their jobs as teachers. He got her a job at his school, so she was working with an entire staff that knew they had an affair and had to move to the middle of nowhere. Last I heard of them, the affair partner had been texting his former best friend unhinged rants about not including them in get-togethers or allowing my ex-husband to be a groomsman in his wedding. But enough about them, because they already took up way too many pages in my story. When we last left off, I think I had just moved to a new city, shout out to Richmond, Virginia, and was largely just finding myself again. I think the change of scenery was the best thing that I did for myself. I was never meant to live in the suburbs, and moving to a beautiful little city where I can walk to coffee shops, bakeries, and bookstores honestly helped my mental health as much as the therapy. I bought a house here a couple of years ago and have really settled in. Then I got my puppy, a corgi named Bilbo Baggins, who really is the true love of my life. He is the greatest thing to happen to me and is just such a fantastic chonky guy. We go to a local dog park with a bar all the time, and he even has his own little dog social group. Kids aren't something I plan on, so he is basically my son. It hasn't all been perfect. My dad died, my best friend moved across the country, and I largely haven't really been dating much the past couple of years. Dating hasn't been a huge priority for me, and my friends say that I'm probably too picky. I say that I know what it's like to be in a marriage with someone who might love you but doesn't like you, and it's worth not settling. But while I may be single, I am fulfilled and busy. My birthday is Saturday, and I'll be spending it in Paris at a Lady Gaga concert. I saw Sabrina Carpenter in Amsterdam, Taylor Swift in Lyon, Springsteen in Edinburgh, Noah Kahan at Fenway Park. Earlier this year, I was able to visit Katmai National Park and see the brown bears in the falls. I have a D&D group in a really amazing village of people I love. I would not be in this headspace if I didn't go to therapy and work out the why of me settling for this man in the first place. True story. When planning our honeymoon in New Zealand, I, of course, had to plan the entire thing despite him picking the location. He refused to do any driving, so we had to do a guided tour that left on specific dates. He pretended to not be able to get a day off of work when we needed to leave, until I started crying and begging him to just ask his boss for it, because literally no other flights worked. That's when he said he actually always had a day off, but wanted to make sure I was actually working hard enough to choose good flights. Anyway, I chose to marry that, and it was a lot to unpack in therapy. But I'm glad I did because, without it, I don't think I'd have built this life for myself. At the end of the day, what happened set me up to live a happier life than what I was living, so in some ways, I'm thankful for the experience, crappy as it was. If you're in the middle of something terrible, unfair, and world-shattering to you, just know that it's not forever. While this experience has made me a bit of a believer in karma, I also know that there was a lot of work to get myself out of that big black mental hole. Sometimes it seemed that I would slide back into it, but by looking forward and figuring myself out, I eventually clawed my way out. I think you can too, and that you're worth fighting for. Good for you. Sounds like he has regrets. I do think he regrets how he did it, but this was the girl I was always told not to worry about, and he had feelings for her for a while. I'm sure he's probably happy, but I think he's the type of person who's also content with his simple life. Just read your other posts. Oh wow, what a tool he was. If you don't mind, what did you figure out was the reason you put up with him? What did your therapist say? A lot of it was I equated success with going through the steps of life. Getting married was just the next step, and I didn't think I could find something else. So I settled. Therapy also helped me realize the reason I kept wanting to put off having kids later and later, it's because I actually didn't want them. It's just what I thought I should do. The things he did became so normal that I just kind of started to accept them. I took on all the emotional labor. I drove 2 hours a day for my job as the breadwinner because he didn't want to commute or leave the town he grew up in. I made sure we saw his family for things when I found out that he would use me as an excuse to get out of stuff. Looking back, it's so obvious, but when you're in that situation, you kind of lose yourself in it. Last story. I just found out my boyfriend lied about his age for a year. What do I do? I, 22 female, recently found out my boyfriend, 38 male, lied about his age for a year. We met at work, got along, and became official 6 months ago. This is my first relationship, and now I feel completely broken. He claimed to be 31 years old the first time we met. I was unsure about the age gap, but after seeing how well we connected, I decided to give it a chance. This morning, we went to do some legal paperwork where I needed his ID. At the office, he kept handing his ID upside down to the staff and refused to let me see it after I asked nicely, claiming privacy. By then I had my doubts, though I wasn't exactly sure what he was hiding. I finally confronted him, saying that I needed to see his ID or I wouldn't be able to trust him anymore. It escalated to, "What are you hiding from me?" He never answered directly. Back home, after much insistence, he gave up and told me the truth. He lied about his age because he felt bad about being old and wanted to feel younger. He said he knew I wouldn't accept being with him if I knew his real age, and that he was planning on telling me eventually because his guilt was getting hard to manage. He admitted that what he did was wrong, then tried to reassure me that it wasn't my fault, that I was an excellent girlfriend in person, and that everything we shared was real. I closed the door in his face after telling him I needed to process everything. This feels like a nightmare, and it hurts so much. I trusted him, shared my life and my love, and even planned a future together. Moving abroad, traveling, building a new life. Now I feel so betrayed, angry, and heartbroken. I can't believe I was lied to for so long about something so fundamental. I don't know what to do next. Should I try to salvage this, or just walk away? Edit. About the legal paperwork part. I think I worded it wrong. It's nothing that really binds me to him in any way. Nothing I can't undo. He just helped me with some documents that I needed to show for my residence certificate. He wanted you to move out of country before telling you the truth. That would terrify any reasonable person. I never thought about it this way, but wow. Moving away from my family and those I'm close with to a place where I can only rely on him. Scary stuff. You cannot move past this. He lied to you for a year. What he lied about doesn't really matter. More so that he was willing to deceive and manipulate you for an outcome that was good for him. Thank you. You're right. It seems he only cared about feeding his ego with me. If he had cared even a little about me or my opinions, we wouldn't have built this relationship at all. I think before you break up, it might be funny to tell him that you lied too. You're actually 30 and wanted to bag older predatory guys for easy money. And see his reaction. I wonder what it would be. Oh, I wish, but he rarely ever bought me anything, LOL. I've lived this situation too. TLDR, you need to leave him. Longer story, my ex and I were together for like 6 years. And about a year in, I also found out he was lying about his age. He kept talking about how he and his ex-wife were married for 10 years. But according to the information I had, they could have been only married for 8 years. So one time he made the mistake again, and I started really pressing him about it. Because it was just a weird thing to say in my opinion. I didn't ever consider that he was lying about his age. I don't know what I thought. It was just weird and I knew it. Eventually I found out he was 4 years older than he actually was, which took him from 7 years older than me to 10.5 years older than me. Then I found out that he was gaslighting my roommate constantly, using her towels and folding them up and putting them away. Just freaking weird stuff. Then I found out he sold some of my stuff. Then during 2020, I was into activism. In a series of really messed up events, as a result of being arrested at a protest, the cops showed up with a warrant and arrested me and him. During our post-release phone call, he was forced to answer the question, single, married, or divorced. And he answered, separated. Girl, I thought this man was divorced. He told me he was divorced. He was, in fact, never legally divorced. The lies with dudes like this never end.